Welcome. As the ACU's 90th anniversary approaches, we will come together as a family in Miami to celebrate and renew our commitment in faith and service. It is important to prepare ourselves mentally and spiritually in these coming months. Today, I ask each of you to reflect on our history and look ahead to our future. This preparation video will offer you an opportunity to pause, reflect, and discuss as a group. I highly encourage you to listen to this video with your ACU chapter, or on a video call with at least one other agrupado. This video will have two parts and three opportunities for reflection and discussion. The first part will include a reminder of our mission and highlight major moments in our history that I hope are as inspiring to you as they are to me. The second part will have us look ahead to our next decade and ask the question, where are we headed? Part 1, our mission. Forming professional Catholic men as leaders for the propagation of the faith. This mission is as relevant today as it was in 1931 Cuba. The words may have changed over the years, but the central message is the same. We are committed to the formation of Catholic men. We use our personal life and our professional skills to grow the faith and help create a more Christian society. We are also a Marian congregation whose spirituality is based on Jesuit formational principles and a strong concentration in Marian reflection. At this moment, we reaffirm our commitment to this mission and seek to further build on top of a strong foundation. The ACU was originally formed to solve a very specific problem: the decreasing male presence in Catholic society. This is especially true in the early 1900s in Cuba. This was the height of the rationalism movement, built on a philosophical principle that human reason was the sole source and final test of all truth, and that religion should not be what dictates life's directions and actions. Among other historical and cultural reasons, this period saw a disappearance of men from Catholic participation, especially after graduating from Catholic high schools, where they would only really reappear to get married. This phenomenon was what motivated Father Felipe Rey de Castro to begin the process of re-Christianization of Cuba that eventually established the ACU in 1931. The Pew Research Center's religious landscape study continues to show that this issue of male participation persists today in the United States, especially among the Latino community. It means our job isn't done, and there's still plenty of work to do. We'll pause now for a 15 to 20-minute reflection and discussion. And I implore you to reflect on our origins and the importance of our mission in the world today. What stood out to you when reviewing some of the data on male participation in the Catholic faith? The ACU has also thrived when faced with challenges. And although there are countless amazing and inspiring men that have shaped our history, I'd like to reflect on two individuals that exemplify the ACU's strength and resilience, leading to some of our proudest moments in the face of adversity. In 1927, during the ACU's fragile infancy, Father Rey de Castro was actually transferred back to Spain, leaving the student group without a director during such a pivotal time. It was in this moment that Juan Antonio Rubio Padilla, a 19-year-old freshly graduated student from Belen, rose to the occasion and nurtured the fledgling student group. He set a standard for leadership among laymen at the ACU, and in the 3.5 years that Father Rey de Castro was away in Spain, not a single one of the 35 members missed the spiritual exercise. Juan Antonio Rubio Padilla went on to become the first ACU congregante, a medical doctor, and served on the front lines during a period of massive growth for the ACU in its first 30 years. He was even described by his peers as scandalously honest and the man that changed the course of Cuban history. Can you imagine being given this charge at such a young age? What would you have done? You could spend an entire lecture series speaking about Father Armando Llorente, a man considered synonymous with the ACU for over 58 years. Each of you likely have a story you hold on to for inspiration, and to recall it, all you need to hear is ánimo. For this reflection, I'd like to take us back to the early 1960s. After the Cuban Revolution, when many were living in exile, and the feeling that many ACU members had at the time of being completely demoralized, feeling separated, and a feeling of despair about such an uncertain future. Father Llorente's Jesuit superior was about to send him to another location because, as he stated, the ACU was dead. This was the spark that Father Llorente needed to resuscitate the ACU. The ACU was not a place or a building, but a spirit, and a connection among brothers, and a relationship with God that could not die. I challenge you to put yourselves in the shoes of Father Llorente, driving across the country to reconnect with every single ACU member in exile, conducting spiritual exercises wherever possible, being resourceful and taking action, even renting out parts of the Golden Strand Hotel in Miami Beach for retreats, conducting assemblies to pull members back together, and celebrating Mass and meals with agrupados and their families. Most of all, pouring his heart and soul into building the ACU that we see today. We'll pause now for another 15 to 20-minute reflection and discussion. And here I implore you to reflect on these moments of conviction and pride for the growth of the ACU. Spend some time to reflect on other key figures and moments that have shaped the ACU over the past 90 years. What moments are you most inspired by? What are you most proud of? How have those moments shaped your role in the ACU? How has it shaped your faith and your apostolic work? We'll pause here for 15 to 20 minutes. Part 2. Where are we headed? So where do we go from here? We have such a strong foundation to build from. A legacy of 90 years of collective spirituality, professionalism, and apostolic work. We also have a great challenge ahead of us in figuring out how to use the many blessings we've been given to propel us into a new journey on the path to 100 years of the ACU. This past decade alone, we've seen a resurgence of student chapters in the university, both in Atlanta and in Miami, the formation of the ACU Young Professionals Group. We've established a $60 million endowment named in the honor of Father Llorente. This endowment brings us financial stability and new ways to support our community in ways not possible before. The spiritual exercises continue to be our foundation for connection, development, and discernment for each and every agrupado. And even throughout the challenge of the COVID-19 pandemic, we've adapted to use virtual means to connect across our global network of professional men of faith and build even stronger bridges across the chapters. With this, it'll lead us into our final reflection and discussion, and we'll pause for another 15 to 20 minutes here. And I implore you to think about what other strengths we bring as individuals, as chapters, and as a congregation. And reflect a bit on what should be some of the audacious goals for the next 10 years. Think about it across a couple of dimensions, as individuals, as a chapter, and as a congregation, and don't feel bound by the limits of our past. Thank you so much for taking this time and taking this moment of prayer and preparation so seriously. We look forward to seeing each of you at the assembly in December. Ánimo.